Malinovka northern spawn medium tank. What options do we have? Spawning on Malinovka in the north with the medium tank, you have several options. One is to instantaneously push to the hill and help your heavy tanks to win the hill. And I would, let's say recommend to do this if you are playing a heavily armored medium tank, for example, the Iron Army. Because then you can make the difference and alongside with your heavy tanks win the hill, and I think the hill is a relatively important position on this map. Now the thing on the northern side is compared to the south, if you lose the hill, then you can set up yourself in this forest and you have a superb defensive position. So compared to the southern spawn, the northern spawn does not have the need to win the hill. So what I like to do is I like to start the game a bit more defensively and go to this position. Now you can also proceed right here. However, let's say on this position, first of all, you are susceptible to crossfire from the hill. Plus, you have to have good spotting capabilities, because otherwise you will get spotted maybe by, let's say, light tanks which are here, or maybe here. Plus, the chances are that aggressive enemy light or medium tanks will rush into this position and then proxy spot you, and then you might lose some HP. So I start the game a bit more defensively, and especially with the hull down strong tank or with the tank which has good gun depression, I should say, you can basically stop here on this hill and then take all those tanks under fire which are spotted, maybe even those tanks here, and then thereafter see what is going on. If your team is winning the hill, then you can proceed like this and play more aggressively, and if your team is losing the hill, then you can set up a defensive position as I described right here in the forest, and then hold the adversary advance. Alright, this is exactly what we are going to do now. The UDES 16, the tier 9 Swedish medium tank, is perfectly fine for conducting hull down gameplay. And now we could move all the way to the hill. However, in my opinion, the northern spawn has a distinct advantage compared to the compared to the south, or the southeast, I should say, and this is the forest on the A lane. From this forest, so basically where the Batchat 155 artillery is now positioned, you can defend the attack from the hill relatively easily. And so in my opinion, yes, winning the north is super important on this map, because in my opinion, the A0 position, so the hill in the north is the strategic position. However, from the, let's see, nice, we can get a shot. From the northern spawn, you have the advantage of being able to defend the attack from the hill relatively easily, at least much easier compared to the southern spawn. And so what I do with the medium tank is I go to this position, I try to get some shots onto the enemy tanks which have been spotted. Sometimes there's a light tank in the bush, in the typical light bush in the G6 position, and if the light tank has not been spotted, like in this game, I usually conduct some blind shots into this bush, into the typical light bush, once again at the G6 position, in order to take out the enemy light tank. If there's a light tank in this bush, then yeah, he will get destroyed, i.e. he will certainly, or he will most likely not keep or not remain in this bush, and so he will move out, he will get spotted, and then he will be taken out of the game. And so in my opinion, there's a reason for not proceeding to the hill instantaneously, but for, let's say, remaining in this bush here, and for playing a bit more, let's say, defensively and a little bit more cautiously. Now, from this position here, you can just lobster eye the minimap and see what is going on the hill, and if your enemy team is losing, then you can basically proceed to the A lane, into the bush, and help your team to defend the attack from the hill. Now, if your team is winning the hill, then you can do the opposite and basically move to the, let's say, to the B lane or maybe C lane, and yeah, advance towards the enemy territory and simply try to win the game. Now, in my opinion, advancing aggressively in the south most likely, or in most cases, does not make sense. Now, it looks like our team has basically moved there and is playing relatively aggressively, but also relatively successfully, but we will see how this goes. Now, okay, they take out the enemy heavy tanks. So far the game looks relatively nice now, but as you can see, there is now only 2 heavy tanks in the north, and the enemy team is advancing. Unfortunately, the WoT 16 gun is not the best sniper gun, and so now it is time for me to fall back and to set up a defensive position in the forest at the A lane. I'm pinging the map to tell my team that I want to go there in order to set up a defensive position, and now we'll see how it goes. So right now our team is relatively successful in the south. However, the problem is that they have to now cross an open field, and this is most likely unsuccessful, but we'll see how it goes. Now, you can knock down some trees here, and then once again you have a perfectly fine situation, perfectly fine defensive posture from which you can defend the attacking tanks. Now, the problem is that the standard pen on the WoT 16 is a bit lackluster, so is the premium ammunition, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, nice, he turns his turret, nice, so we can get a shot. Excellent, thanks a lot. And now let's see, maybe we can get a shot on the side of the Minotauro, because frontally the armor is simply too thick. Looks like we have lost at least now 1 out of the 3 heavy tanks which were playing in the south, and obviously as those tanks were playing in the south, those heavy tanks, they could not support our team on the hill, and so this is why we lost the hill in the north. But once again, if you're playing from the northern spawn, at least you have a bit of an advantage if you try to defend the attack from the hill. So let's see how it goes. And yeah, the ST1 is behind cover, so we can not get a shot on him. Now it's time for patience, and we simply want to let the enemy team do mistakes. Now, the biggest mistake the enemy team can now do is to advance one by one, so that we can take out all the tanks one after another. This would be the biggest mistake. In this example here, our team is playing very smart and setting up the defensive position. Now, as you can see, the advance on the south has collapsed, so I never ever recommend to proceed in the south, at least without the support of a light tank player, just like our heavy tanks did, because yeah, most likely it will not be successful. I hope that our artillery can take this. Yeah, excellent, nice. And so once again, we have to stay patiently, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, the Minotauro is now advancing in this position. Okay. And you know what? I think maybe I can flank. Okay, he will be. Yeah, he's one shot. So I think can be taken out of the game, which is now executed by the Leopard 1 player. Nice. And Minotauro is turning around, so yeah, okay, he's taken out by the Leopard PTA. Nice. Okay, perfect. And now I think it is time to advance, because I think the tank destroyer, the WT on Panzer IV, is in the southeast. So is the Char Futur. However, he could be moving. But anyway, I want to make pressure towards the ST1 and basically now advance in order to win the game. So yeah, let's first of all clear the north, and we have to keep an eye on the tank destroyer because he could have moved, but okay, the Leopard 1, you know what? The Leopard 1 is going to the last known position of the ST1, and so we will simply proceed down the 0 lane and try to get the assisting or try to get the spotting damage for the remaining enemy, for the remaining enemy forces. That's what I wanted to say. So yeah, in my opinion, this is the best option to play Malinovka if you are playing in a medium tank and spawning from the north. You should not play over aggressively, rather try to stay safe, try to play a bit more defensively, and excellent, because you can perfectly defend the advancing enemy forces if they've won the hill, and if you have reduced the amount of HP and also the number of the adversary tanks, then you can still advance and bring the fight to the enemy territory.